Hello all YouTubers, I'm the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning back into this Invest 94E video for September 27th, 2020. Before I get on with today's video, however, if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest forecast and best forecast from the Weather Dude, then please, every single one of you that is not subscribed, please click the subscribe and the ring and the notification bell so you guys stay up to date with the latest The Weather Dude content. And also, please watch the whole video. Thank you guys so much, by the way, for 1,000 subscribers. It really does mean a lot to me. And this is taking the next step towards monetization, so please watch the whole video. It really does help out my channel a lot. And also, please give this video a like and share this with your friends. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. Now we finally have something else developing over in the East Pacific, and to be honest with you, East Pacific has been a pretty quiet season. Alright, Lau that has recently dissipated. It was our 12th named storm there in the Pacific. Now on the Atlantic, we average 12 named storms every single hurricane season. Now the Pacific, I think the numbers might be the same, but I think the Pacific, the expectations are actually set a little bit higher. So this season's probably running a little bit below average so far for the East Pacific. Plus the hurricane season also starts 2 weeks earlier than the Atlantic. I think they end around the same time now. But we finally have another disturbance in the East Pacific. It's actually been recently named an Invest, all right, 94E. And the great thing about that is now we have an X on the map, meaning X marks the spot. We know where the storm center is located. Before, it was just a big red circle just telling us where the storm could form, but now we know where the storm center is located and where it could go in its near future. So 80% chance of development here. It's a small area of low pressure, so we're seeing some surface low development here. We could see a storm move gradually westward in the next day or two, moving away from Mexico, as these storms usually do. We can see development in the next several days. Maybe later this week we could see a depression or a storm. This will turn west and then northwestward by midweek, and maybe move in that direction by the end of the week. But it could strengthen from there, some of the models were saying. And who knows, maybe we'll get lashed up with a jet stream or a cold front, and some moisture may get zipped into the west coast, which would be great news because they're dealing with some dangerous wildfires over there right now. So looking at the satellite imagery, you can pretty much see, according to the National Hurricane Center, storm center location's about just shy of 105 west. So I would pretty much have it right here. It's pretty much where the storm center is located. Here's where it could be going in its near future, but it's just this huge convection area right along the, or just north of the equator, I should say. All right, and it's this big conveyor belt of convection, and that's how these systems develop off of those conveyor belts. Now, currently the storm is located, again, actually just shy of 104 west and maybe 12.5 degrees north. So those are kind of like your coordinates, as I'd like to tell you the coordinates for some reason. Then we have our GEFS model tracks. Now, as I show you the next couple maps or so, like this map and the next one, you're not going to see too many models because, like I said, this just got named an Invest earlier today, not even that long ago, actually. So not many models picking up on it yet, but over the next day or two, we'll get some more models picking up on it, and it'll be a lot better to tell. But for now, we have a few models that love to pick up on a storm as soon as it develops here. And the few that do really have it actually developing pretty strong, whether it may be around 990 millibars of pressure, right? Not bad. A couple even have it going down towards 970 or 960 millibars. So again, lower the pressure, the bigger and stronger the winds are. Not necessarily bigger the storm is, but the lower pressure is it dignifies stronger wind. It symbolizes it. And we do have a few models, pretty much all the models here. So maybe this model has a red, this one yellow, red and orange. So most of the models are keeping it pretty much in this range between 970 and 1,000, which is still pretty low pressure. So we can see a decent storm form out of this. Not too many models are picking up on the intensity guidance yet, but the three that do make it a mid-tropical storm, maybe even up to a low category 1 hurricane. Right, and now most of these maps I'll be showing you from track to tropic size. Next few maps, I mostly actually use these for the Atlantic side. Now you can't see a little bit on the Pacific side. You just have to look all the way on the left side of your screen, and you'll be able to see it. But I'll be using my drawing tool, so you guys will be able to find it. But here is your cyclonic vorticity signature. There's where 94E is located, right there. In that group, more like some of that rotation, got some stronger vorticity signatures, signifying that the storm is getting its act together a little bit. Chances for development with this probably around 30. Like I said, if I were to look a little bit, it cuts off right at 100 degrees west. So if you go beyond that, you might see some better colors. But actually, look at this. Up by the East Coast and the Mid-Atlantic, there's something 60 to 70% chance of development. Wow. Or 50 to 60, I'm sorry. So that's interesting, right off the Mid-Atlantic coast. So maybe, certainly possible. From the FNMOC, maybe the GEM and the European model. The two I know are GEM and European models. So we're going to take a look at these two. Maybe they'll signify, maybe they might tell us something that could develop near there, possibly. Now, here, I haven't shown you guys this map in a while. I may have never shown it to you, but I think I have, like in the past on my channel, like in the beginning. And this is saying at the graphical tropical hazards, like you can see, actually they actually have one for the East Coast through October 6th, which will be my next video. I'll be talking about the cold weather in the East, kind of like the overall October pattern. I think my actual October forecast will probably come in a couple days, hopefully. You know, it's been a little, tough uploading lately. But hopefully I'll be able to have time to get that October forecast, or November, yeah, October, sorry. I'm losing what time of the month it is. Hopefully I'll get that October forecast out. But anyway, we have increasing moisture on that conveyor belt I was telling you about from the 23rd to the 29th of September. So again, that signifies, or that symbolizes maybe some potential development. Then we also have, through the 6th of September, we have green, like a solid green, which means high confidence of above average rainfall. If it's striped, that means moderate confidence. But we also have a striped red color, which means a moderate confidence of some tropical cyclone formation. That's also true for the Caribbean. That's also true for the coast of Africa. So maybe tropics on both sides could get a little active again, Pacific and Atlantic. Cyclonic heat potential, though, it's nothing on the Pacific side compared to the Atlantic side, especially when you look at the Caribbean. I mean, nothing compares to the Caribbean when you talk about tropical cyclonic heat here. All right, and then we have, well, it's a little blurrier because I had to zoom in just so you guys can see it. But again, same map here on the left side of your screen. There isn't much colors, nothing like what we see here in the Caribbean. All right, so let's take a look at the wind shear now. All right, so we got some wind shear, yellows and oranges, so not too bad, but I think it could be a little bit better off. I think it's going to be a little hard for the storm to develop if the wind shear is a little high, for example, 30, 40 knots like in some spots. So, but shear has been staying the same, if not actually declining a few knots over the past 24 hours. So it's trending down, but it could go back up again. All right, it's very uncertain. Dry air, luckily all the dry air is actually near the equator because that's where the La Nina is forming, on the equator, cool and dry air. Now, we do have some convection north of that, and that's most likely where 94E is located currently. So here's the good old classic ship's diagnostic message here for 94E. And as you can see, wind shear, like I said, according to this actually, it's actually around 15 or 20 knots, which isn't so bad. Could be declining over the next few days and then staying relatively low, which is good for development. Now, sea surface temperatures, notice this though, 29 and falling to 28, and eventually by next week it could be down to 26. So sea surface temperatures could quickly drop below 28 or 26 Celsius, which is below 80, which Fahrenheit, which is not good for development. Also, storm will be speeding up. Right now it's moving slower. It's got to give it a little bit more time to develop, but then it could be moving closer to 20 miles an hour, maybe about 3 or 4 days out. Heat content values are, again, compared to the Atlantic, Pacific really has no tropical cyclonic heat, except the storms form closer to the equator. They have a better chance to develop, unless this season, because of La Nina, the Pacific side is a little below average with development. Heat content isn't too bad. 30, okay, it's relatively low to moderate, but it could be a lot better. Nothing compared to the Caribbean, where we're seeing triple-digit values, which is pretty rare. All right. Now, looking at the GFS model, I'm going to take a look at some modeling now. All right. And let me advance on here, and you can see not much is happening, all right, except, again, for 94E that we have developing here. But the low center is a little misplaced from the actual center of the precipitation. So I think the low is a little bit miscent. I think it's a little bit disorganized, but look what happens, all right, quickly. Over the next few days, 979 millibars of pressure, a tight low develops, all right, and we got ourselves one heck of a storm. Then it moves north, continues to strengthen, pretty much staying the same, actually, but still keeping its strength, all right, 999 millibars of pressure, strong tropical storm, maybe heading towards California, although the sea surface temperatures really drop off once it gets to California, all right. Hopefully I'll be showing you that later in the video. I'll be showing you the sea surface temperatures and the anomalies. Some maybe in the Caribbean, look at this, ooh. Northeastern Gulf. Wow, spoiler alert. Right there. All right, right in the Northeastern Gulf. Maybe some could develop over the next 10 days. Certainly possible. But we're focusing on the storm that is actually there right now, which is 94E. All right, and let's look at the vorticity signature, because I feel like it's always easier to see the storm when you have the cyclonic vorticity signature enabled. And there you go. All right, a lot of cyclonic vorticity signature high up on the scale. All All right, and even the week out, look at this. Look at this tight storm we had, this tight developing round storm, and obviously it has to be round, right? We don't want it to be square, but it's developing a good low center, and that's obviously that surface flow is really helping it develop. Now, the full resolution, the surface winds that we're talking about here, could get pretty high. Look at this. So let's take a look at about 150 hours out. You can see we're seeing some purples developing, and that's saying that declares a hurricane. That signals a hurricane. All right, moving to the north, 970 millibars. Then eventually it starts weakening pretty quickly. Sea surface temperatures get pretty cold. However, climatological data and the Climate Prediction Center, and we actually been noticing these massive hot baths of water. Or I should say, significantly above average water temperatures. I'll actually pull up a map for you guys right now. I'm developing there, so maybe that could help keep the storm alive a little longer. But keep in mind the jet streams will be coming through as well, so there'll be a lot of shear. But actually, let me show that map to you guys real quick. All right, and here we have, right? Look at this. You can see, look at these warm blobs here and here and here. All right, so and these really shouldn't be here. I mean, it can happen, but like. The climate is really abnormal for this. So maybe they'll help keep the storm alive a little longer as it moves north. Maybe if these, and this is climate change too. So keep in mind, I know the West Coast doesn't get hit by a lot of hurricanes. Usually, actually, what happens most of the time is that the remnants of a hurricane could hit like the Four Corners region. Maybe if someone goes up near Cabo San Lucas and turns this way, or someone goes out and comes in this way. But nothing really ever hits California, Oregon, Washington. Knock on wood. That's not wood. Anyway, but with these significantly warm waters developing off the coast, or warmer than average, I should say, and the climate change, if this trend continues, then we could see, if the storm happens to track there, we could see some pretty dangerous impacts, right? But hopefully that won't be the case. Sea surface temperatures themselves, for where the storm is right now, I think it got about upper 20s for sea surface temperatures, so that's about 82 or so, 83 Fahrenheit. But like I said, once it crosses out of this region, like once it makes its way up here, the water temperatures are already in the low 70s, upper 60s. And even the California coastline, the waters are super cold, all right, for what you would think they would be. We're talking about like 17, 15 Celsius, which is really like 50s, if lower 60s if you're lucky. So gem model, let's take a look at that as we wrap up here. Not really much. They really don't believe in the storm that much. They're really not having too much confidence in it. But something does develop, 1,001 millibars, and then, I was just checking you guys. Look at this, 99 millibars of pressure right there. And the earlier run from this morning really didn't have this developing that much, and something else could develop behind that, not as significant, but something to watch. And then 94E, we don't know what it could become, whatever the M name storm would be after Lowell. All right, and then we have the cyclonic vorticity signature. Right, it always makes it easier to follow these storm systems. All right, and here we go. Let's go about 5 days or so. All right, and then look at this. I mean, it's not a super small storm, but it could do some strengthening. Thankfully, as I said, while I was watching Lowell potentially heading towards Hawaii, looks like it's dissipating a lot, which is certainly good news. But you have to watch, all these systems that develop could get close to Hawaii. And then there you go. Some reds closer to purples, maybe a near hurricane by October 4th. In the same token, we have the East feeling the cold and the West feeling the heat. So stay tuned. I'll be in the next premiere a little bit later. So thank you guys for watching today's video. I am the Weather Dude, signing off till next time. I will catch you guys in the next video.